Miami blows out Florida 41-17 as Cam Ward enters the Heisman conversation, and Miami emerges as the ACC favorite early on. Speaking of a team in Clemson that had no transfer portal activity, I've said it once and I'll say it again. It might be the last time I say it. Nobody tried harder than Mario Cristobal and the Miami Hurricanes to build what they built in the offseason. With Cam Ward coming in from Washington State, Restrepo, you got to love what Damian Martinez is giving you as well. And speaking of Cam Ward, had an absolutely great game. He looked very comfortable. Miami scored on 5 of their first 6 drives in this game. They really were spreading the football around. Cam Ward found 10 different receivers in this game. 5 of them made grabs of 20-plus yards. Cam Ward was very comfortable in this one. 385 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, 1 early interception that kept the game close, but he fought through that. Ended up having over 400 total yards on the day as he added 33 rushing. All with a new offensive coordinator, playing in the swamp to open up the season against the Florida Gators. And again, when he threw that interception early on in the game, which kept Florida in it, and he was still able to hang in this game, being the very hyped up transfer that he was, wondering if he was supposed to go to the NFL, ended up coming over to Miami, had a lot of noise around him in this one, a lot of reason to not play well. And he played extremely well, albeit it is against Florida, who's going to be bad this year, who has the toughest schedule in college football. On the other side of the ball for the quarterback, Graham Mertz had an insane injury scare. He went 11 for 20 with 91 yards and an interception that he threw and also got hurt on the same play. Florida's offensive line was just downright awful. It got their quarterback hurt, and now they're calling for DJ Lagway to start 1 game into the season. Now, DJ Lagway did look good, and he had a wild recruiting story, but Graham Mertz was still your quarterback last year that had 20 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. I don't believe he's that guy. And I, didn't believe that Florida was going to put up a fight in this game. And, by in turn, Graham Mertz didn't play well. But the fans are already calling for DJ Lagway because that's how bad Graham Mertz and Brian Napier looked in week 1 against a Miami team that blew them off the map. 41 points was the most ever allowed by Florida in a home opener. They allowed over 500 yards of offense and almost 8 yards per play. Florida actually had 2 critical roughing the passer penalties on some defensive stops, which actually gave the Hurricanes 15 yards and a first down. Miami would go on to score a touchdown after both of those penalties. The roughing penalties were from a 6th-year senior and a 4th-year junior. So guys that knew better, guys that were veterans, guys that had no business making those types of plays. Florida had its streak of 35 straight winning home openers come to an end, losing for the first time to open the season at the Swamp since falling 24-19 to Ole Miss on September 6th of 1989. Florida also dropped its 6th straight game dating back to the 2023 season and fell to 11-15. I might have said Billy Napier, who has posted 2 straight losing seasons as Florida's head coach. And you see, it wasn't until about 2 minutes left in the third quarter that Florida converted its first, third, or fourth down attempt of the game. They could not stay on the field. Miami's defense kept getting Florida's defense off of the field, but by that time, they were down 38-10. The offense was just downright pitiful. And yes, they did have a running back break free for 71 yards on the touchdown run for the garbage time, and then they did have a garbage time touchdown in the fourth quarter. But when you look at the play calling, it was atrocious. It was very cookie cutter. It was very predictable, unoriginal. You had screen, run up the middle, drop back and pass on third down was really the majority of the play calling. If you take away the 71-yard run from the running back Montrell Johnson, which was 27% of Florida's total yards, the Gators averaged 2.5 yards per carry versus Miami. And we know that Miami locked him up as well. 8 TFLs, 3 sacks. The Florida program is just very lost right now. It's very lost, and they have the toughest schedule. Everyone is calling for Billy Napier's job, and rightfully so. They absolutely should be calling for his job because this team doesn't look like it has any wherewithal. And while, yes, Miami has a lot of talent, and early on, Miami could be the team to beat in the ACC. Just calling it what it is early on. Cam Ward right now is the best quarterback in the ACC. That's a fact. And if Florida has a tough one out the gates against Miami, it's not getting any easier. We already said they have the toughest schedule. I know it's not, I guess, the sexiest to fire someone midseason in college football, but we could see Napier be one of those guys that goes out early on. But I mean, shout out to Miami, man. They were explosive. Again, Martinez, Restrepo looked great. They were just great on all aspects, and I could see Miami being in the team playoff season. And I'm honestly excited to see what Miami does, because they seem like a team that could sneak into a national championship. I know that's crazy as hell to say after week 1, but they came out and they played strong with a transfer quarterback in the swamp week 1 and absolutely put up a 40-plus burger on a team that they haven't played in a while. And again, all the pressure was there and they didn't let it get to them.